Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Queens Being Honest. I'm Lala.
I'm Angel.
I'm Shammy.
I'm Sia.
I'm JoJo.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Sheila.
I'm Charles.
Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
What are we talking about today?
I have a juicy topic for you guys. And I hate saying guys because there's a bunch of ladies here, but hey, guys who are listening, but it's about being submissive, ladies.
Tough topic, boy.
Yeah.
This is an hour, 2-hour topic.
So this submissive thing, this word submissive, it gets dragged around. It gets mentioned in positive and negative forms. In my experience, because this is what we speak on, our experience. Being honest, I had it thrown on me saying I'm not being submissive in a relationship, and it was basically like I'm not letting him lead. When it was just like, give me a reason to let you lead. Like I didn't feel like you were giving me that security where I felt safe, where I felt like I could trust you.
Yes.
So it's like, how are you gonna ask me to be submissive to you when you didn't give me a reason to be,
Right. And Toya, it's funny you say that because it's right at what you're talking about. I'm thinking about like when I think of the word submissive, it almost ties to the word control a little bit. It almost comes off like when you say submissive, it's like, oh, that means the other party has some form of control over you. So it sucks, Lala, that, to feel that. So for me, when I think about submissive, I think about the book that I'm sure maybe all of us might have read, 50 Shades of Grey. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
The girl in the scene in the movie, the main character, she was submissive throughout, but towards the end he became submissive. So I don't know, it's like it kind of just I don't know, it just all depends on, I don't know, the mood, the atmosphere, but that word submissive is just how it's just it hurts some people, like like it pierces some people when you say that word because they take it in a different way, and some people have that right because they went through their own experience on why they that word submissive is more than just that.
For me,
hey Tiff. Sorry.
This Angel. Oh, I'm sorry. This Angel. For me, submissive is okay, honestly, but it's just like you said, he has to lead the correct way, and I feel like that's where the problems come in a relationship is when to be submissive and when to be dominant. It's okay to be a woman and be dominant in your relationship when it comes to making certain decisions, but you also have to let a man be a man at the same time. You don't want to take that away from him. Men are egotistic. Women, sometimes we don't know when to just let our man just take control and be a man because we've been so strong and we don't want to feel like we're being walked all over. But I feel like, it's okay. Listen, and then if you feel like you disagree, you wait till you in behind closed doors to be like, well, babe, I feel this, such and such and such, but don't take it away from him neither. That's just my opinion.
Yes.
No thoughts?
No, I agree with you, Kima. Angel, I agree with you. I had a conversation like that the other day because I was saying to myself, like, I feel like there's a difference between follow and lead. I feel like a husband or the proper man in your life should lead, but a lot of times the men end up following the woman because, like, picking out stuff like houses,
Yeah.
Husband ain't gonna pay for that mortgage, but the woman picked out that house.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I feel like I get what you're saying because we really was having a conversation. I was like, I feel like there's really a difference. But a man, I don't think all men either know the difference of how to lead. So a woman will not know how to submit, be
right.
the right man.
Right.
It's Sita. I 100% agree with that. And I feel like that's, I wouldn't say I necessarily struggle with being submissive. It was just more of communication, how it's presented to you. If I come and tell you, yo, go do this real quick, I may know that you have all positive intentions or what you're saying, it makes sense, but it's how you communicate it to me. So with that, to follow up on Nicole's point, I in preparation, I got a male's perspective, and they were kind of in agreement. And the last part said, but if both people give themselves to each other, trusting that the other person loves and respects them enough to let them be their true selves, then submission fades and self-giving enters. But there needs to be trust for this to happen.
True.
So I
Agree.
thought that was like, okay, I've never heard a male actually lose the word submissive and just just think about the two people giving themselves to each other.
Yeah, because I think both is submissive, you know, at different moments for different situations. It depends on what the decision that's being made, who's going to be the submissive one or not. Like, you know, okay, my oil or something is wrong with my car. You know, I think a man, you know, makes that choice. But, and I don't want to sound like I'm just being like, what's the word? I'm looking for. I'm looking for this term. Is it stereotype? Yes, but for like when it comes to like the
double standard
families, you know, the women makes those decisions. Men don't know too much about that. Sorry to say, they don't. You know, so it's just like within. It depends on the decision that needs to be made.
Yeah, like circling back to some of the points that you ladies made, it was all different forms of being submissive. Like Sheila, when you mentioned 50 Shades of Grey, that was more so like a sexual being submissive. Like he never let someone lead in the bedroom. And then like to Nicole's point, like when she was saying like being submissive, like the man is paying for the house, but the woman is the one who picked it out. That's like being the backbone in the family. Like those are like different forms of being submissive. And then to see this point of having that trust, it's like you can have the trust in that person, but it's always to a certain level of being submissive when you trust that person to do certain things. So it can go, you know, it depends. Because I was going to bring up a scenario personally with me, like in the point that I brought up, in the beginning of the relationship, I trusted the person 100%. And through the time that I lost that trust. So that's when the word submissive started being thrown out. So I can get where the trust factor comes in. And then today, surprisingly, I was watching Married at First Sight. I don't know if you ladies saw that.
Yep.
So one of the men in the relationship, he says he's never let a woman lead at all and in any relationship. So he never understood, but he just didn't get the point that the expert had for him, which is like a therapist. And he literally told him, like, in order for your wife to feel like you trust her and everything. So I guess that word trust came back up again. Like in order for her to feel that you're in this 100%, you have to let her lead sometimes. You have to give in and let her lead. And of course, being a guy, he tried to be funny because other guys were around. And he said, you know, I never let anyone lead, not even in the bedroom. And they all looked at him like, you're missing the point of this. So Shami, I see you were about to say something.
Oh, yes. I was gonna, say like from my perspective, being married and being submissive. Like before me and him got married, we went to premarital counseling, and the pastor was telling us, he talked about being submissive, and he talked about me being submissive to him, and he allowed him to know what the word submissive means, and not mean to control. And I'm the leader and you're the follower, and that's pretty much what it is. He explained to my husband, what is his role as a husband. Like, you're no longer boyfriend and girlfriend. You're no longer engaged. You guys are about to be married. It's a different perspective on where this is the woman that you really want to take care of for the rest of your life. And it goes to where I'm also taking care of him. Being submissive is we're taking care of literally each other and allowing him. And he also said something funny. It's like, men, a lot of times you can control a man's mind. When a man feels like he's doing all the decisions, but necessarily you are, All you gotta do is you ask him the question and you suggest, oh babe, well, this will look nice and this will look nice here. And then he'd be like, you know what? It will look nice here. It's just giving him ideas and him seeing it and him actually taking it back and be like, you know what? Because it's just like men just want to feel like they can provide, they can do it all. It's just that's how they were born. That's how they were, I guess.
Girl, it was his idea.
Right. You know what I mean? Technically, it was literally your idea. You know, like let's say, for example, you posted something. Like let's say you want something and you talk about it all the time, or you post it all the time. You get in his mind, girl. You're gonna be like, yo, I think this is what she'll like. I'm telling you, it's so simple to be what it is. But at the end of the day, it's still, we'll go back with Sita, it's about communication. It's about trust on how they talk to you, how they present. And he could just say, babe, you know, something like, say, for example, babe, you know, the clothes are dirty, whatever the case is. When can you do the laundry? Not, bitch, go do the laundry. No, it's, you know, babe, I don't have no more clean clothes. You know, let's do the laundry together. It's all about the way you present the situation or whatever it is that you guys are communicating about. But we as females, we're going to lead because technically it's what we do.
But Chance, can you imagine Wayne really said that to you though? I'm sorry.
I feel like he might clock
so you already
him.
know. But with me and him, like when it comes to laundry, he does the laundry, I fold the clothes. Like it goes hand in hand.
Right.
Options. You just give them the option. You let them make the decision. Like, you know, when do you think is a good time to do the laundry? You know, that's just the best way to present it. Like, give them an option, and that is being submissive and being dominant at the same time, because it's like, we doing the laundry, but we just gonna do it on your time. You know, that's it.
That's how it pretty much goes. Like, I have a business, and with the business, he comes to me first for everything, knowing, and I already know. To me, I'm like, babe, whatever it is, you do. But he comes to me for everything to make me feel like, you know what, I am a part of this, and this is what it is. And he'll say, yo, she's the boss baby, not me. I'm just setting her up. So it makes you feel like, it makes you feel like, you know what, this is just pretty much what it is, you know. And I believe you'll know when to be submissive to that person. You'll know.
I see shows in Sita. Shows you were gonna say something.
Yes, I agree with Shamal that I believe also that a lot of boys, I'm not gonna say boys who believe that they are men like to throw around the word submission way before their time. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold up. You want me to submit to you, right? Because I'm a woman, and in your head, we have all these qualifications that we need to abide by, right? But you got to abide by some rules too. So where's the brick that you have, you know, that you've been laying the house with, where you want me to cook in the kitchen? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are you coming for to be submissive for me? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where the back and forth comes from when people argue about the term submission. Submission means to be humble, bro. Like, and I think people hear submission and they automatically think, oh, a woman needs to get down on their knees and follow a man. And that's not the case. It's to be able to talk, just like Shimada was saying, be able to have a conversation with your spouse or significant other and be able to reciprocate that and move forward. You know what I'm saying? On both parties. I think a lot of people, you know, are young and they're in these grown relationships, and then they throw that word submission up, and it brings about a lot of conflict because both their brains are not developed enough to actually understand what it actually means to be submissive. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's what I've learned throughout the times. Like, I know for me, that word was like a gun to the heart. Do not to be submissive, bro. Like, don't like. It's making my blood boil now. But you know, I'm older, and I understand that. You know, I feel like I'm a velvet. I feel like very strong. Like I could do things on my own. But through the years, I've realized that, I need to be able to take a step back and let a guy be a guy. That's what I've understand about submission. That's it. I'm not getting on my knees. Like I'm not. No, you know what I'm saying? Like treat me the way you want to be treated. You
gotta get on your knees sometimes.
Well, sometimes you gotta get on your knees. Sometimes, girls.
You know what? I don't have a problem getting on my knees, but bro, get on your knees first, bro. Like, nah, man. Like, let me see that you want to submit to me too. It can be one-sided.
It has to be reciprocated, but sometimes you gotta take the lead too, and just be dominant and submissive. And sometimes you gotta get on them knees.
Give me a reason to get on my knees, though. Give me a reason. Like you good. You treat me.
It always turns out to be
5 weeks and stuff like that, bro. I'm gonna put this up in a ponytail as tight as can, and we going down. Like, but we first dating. We're dating, and then you have the audacity. Like, let's say it's 2 months. I mean, when is this person throwing around the word submission? Like, you have the audacity. We're only 2 months in. We're not even through the honeymoon stage, and you tell me to be submissive.
Well, a man shouldn't have to tell you to be submissive. Right. If he doesn't tell you that, I don't need to be with you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Much.
I'm good.
I feel like that's their way to get
You just know. You would just know when to be submissive.
Agreed.
You just know
from the
for the right
guy.
person.
Yes.
I do have
Submission
one
is for
point
the
to
right
make,
person,
though.
not just for any and everybody.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's just
Circling back to Sammy, when you were talking about that you guys went to the premarital counseling, I think that makes all the difference. Not necessarily that it's premarital counseling, but there's an objective decision made beforehand, or there's an objective point made so that you both have the understanding. So it's like, let's say you both have the same religion and you both know that God comes first. And if you're married, you have the understanding before you even get to like maybe 3 years before you have a child involved, what the understanding of submission was, what we're dating for, like what is the goal here. And if I'm dating you for marriage, then we knew what we were getting involved in, and that we intentionally have to listen to each other. So I think having an objective force from the time you decide to make it serious, or the time you decide, all right, I want to try to make this a thing, that makes all the difference. I feel like there's a lot of assumptions made. Cheryl's made a good point too, that with people having their babies having these grown responsibilities and relationships, if there's not that defining in the beginning, then the assumptions are going to be thrown out just because I'm mad at you. Like, well, you always tell me to do this, and you don't supposed to be this way, and you never bow down. So there was no path. So now everybody's throwing their assumptions of like these high expectations that were never discussed. So
I also feel that lack of being submissive brings a lot of problems in communication, because no person wants to let down. It becomes into an argument when you're not understanding what the person is saying. The point of having a conversation and communicating with one another, like we spoke about previously, you have to try to understand what the person is saying first and where they're coming from. Everybody's dialogue is not the same, and the way people present certain things is not the same. But if you learn to understand one another, you're submitting without even knowing that you're submitting to your partner.
Yeah, and you know how it's said. You know the saying. It's it's not. What does it say? It's not what you say. It's how you say it. Right?
It's how. Yeah.
Please say that one more time. That
now what you say is how you say it.
Girl.
It's true though. It's true. It's true.
And being submissive in the bed is definitely a great thing sometimes, guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah. It should be both ways.
Right, exactly.
I say that. It should definitely go both ways. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'll give in to you all the time.
Mm-hmm. It shouldn't even be a thought. It should just
happen.
Go. It should be a flow.
Yeah.
It should be a flow. Definitely. Yes, flow. It just should be a flow. But then again, like
I'm a little too aggressive. I'm a little too.
I cannot.
A little too.
I think being aggressive is what makes it hard for some women to submit.
Why you say that?
And because the word submission has a bad, reputation, let's say. It's like you're a doormat, a pushover, when you think of that word. But in reality, that's not it. It's just being each other's equal. Because I know me, I'm a little rough around the edges. I could be a little rough, So you tell me be submit. I'm like, excuse me? Me?
to you.
Negative, you know, but it's some guys, they just like, for me anyway, it's like I said, I could be a little rough sometimes. So with being submissive, they just want to be in. Let them come in. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead, Shirls, go ahead, preach, girl, because I'm feeling the energy, girl. Shirls, a little louder, girl, a little louder.
But the things with that, as you was just saying, JoJo, I think it's also about how you go about approaching it, how you say it. When you initially say it, because like I started the conversation, when it was brought to my attention, it was in a sense of like, you need to be submissive. Like, I'm sorry, who are you talking to? Like, no. So yeah, I think it's all about how you say it and how the conversation is communicated between the two people. Whoever is feeling like the person's not being submissive to them, like, that's exactly how it should go. Like, it should be a conversation, not you talking to me, but we're having a conversation, you know?
And some guys don't even know what that word means. Some guys just throw that word around and they don't even know what it means.
Yes.
That's a valid point, JoJo. I feel like I know of people in particular situations where it's like the woman, she has a good head on her shoulders. She knows what she wants. She's very secure of herself. And if, you know, the male comes at her with like, well, we're going to do this. And she goes, okay, so how are we going to do it? And he goes, don't worry about it. We're just going to do it. And she's like, not so much, you know?
Right.
That will really affect him. And then that's when he could throw out, well, you need to be submissive. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway.
Who tells them that they could throw this word around, though? Like, who tells you to go and tell a woman, yo, you need to be submissive? Like,
rappers.
That's not the right man. The right man for you would not say that.
Sure.
It wouldn't. Like, when you're in the right relationship, a man wouldn't bring that up. You wouldn't bring that up.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense. So if a man has to tell you you're not being submissive to me, you don't need to be with that person. Period.
Shammy preach.
And I feel like it's a problem there if they have to state that. You know, there's something off right there, like between the both of you, you know. But then again, that can also be a conversation that needs to be had, you know. But don't just say submissive. Just express like, you know, well, babe, well, this situation, I felt like you could have handled it like this. Not tell me, well, I need to be submissive to you to make you feel better. Just, you know, tell me how you expect me to handle a situation, and I'll take that into consideration. And instead of you telling me, well, I need to just listen to you and go from there. It's just more of the way you present it to me. I don't know what you guys think. I just really feel like I don't know. I just really feel like it depends on the communication and relationship.
Yes,
I think it goes
communication
hand in
is where the
hand.
humbleness comes from. Like, that's where the fact that you know what? That's the submission. The fact that you're going to talk, you're being humble enough to say, I value your opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm asking you, what should we do? You know?
Right. Nicole, you were saying something? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, I was saying I think it goes hand in hand with like communication. Because if y'all don't have that, how can anybody submit to who and what and how and when or whatever? Like, and I think we go back to the beginning, it's the right person. Like, that's it.
Because it's like, even when you're dating, or like you said, you're in a relationship, then you're married, it's like, is there like is there like you know, like these durations where this what do you call it, you guys, like, if there's a rule to this, like, you're supposed to be submissive when you're dating, when you're, you know, engaged, and when you're married, or like you said, it shouldn't even be a conversation. If it comes up, then you know what to do. You part ways.
If my partner is doing everything right, I'm going to submit naturally. It's just going to be a natural instant. It's just going to be something that you do. But my thing is, and this was stated like on Instagram and everything like that, when a woman takes time to herself and learn herself and just love herself so much, that independency that she has, being alone, sometimes it's hard to take away from when she gets into a relationship, because she's so used to just me. So it's just like, I don't need a man, and I don't, you know, this, that, and the third. And honestly, if you really want to date, you can't go into a situation where you don't need him, because Obviously you do. You know, like you may not need him 100%, but you want him. So if you want something, you're gonna do right by that person, and vice versa.
Preach, sister, preach.
100%
This
agree.
might be
You
left
do what you gotta
field,
do.
but for all of us who are mothers, those of us who have maybe mastered being submissive, or we're currently learning ourselves enough to be submissive, is that something, do you think we have to teach our daughters or guide them, or when they come to us, we teach them like this is the way, or this is a particular avenue you could take if you feel you should be submissive to this person?
Honestly, for me, well, I have a son, I don't have a daughter, but
Right.
I do feel like you don't teach your daughters that, but you teach your daughters to respect their partner. You teach your daughter to respect herself first, and with respect for yourself and respect for your partner, then it wouldn't be a conversation about submission. It would just be a relationship with respect, and it would go forward from there. Honestly, like I teach my son, you have to respect the young ladies, and you can't expect this and you expect that. I teach Jay, you have to do your own laundry. You got to learn how to cook and do things for yourself that you won't expect that a woman have to do this. But if she do it, you appreciate it. Once the appreciation is there, then the submissive will come because you appreciate your partner. She's appreciating you. Communication, connection, and it goes further from there.
That's exactly.
You just teach them the right way that everything else falls into place.
Mm-hmm.
I think I brought that question up because, sorry, whoever I just cut off, but in previous relationship, I went to counseling, and the biggest thing that they brought up is that like there was always a battle, and it wasn't necessarily because one person wasn't being submissive, but one person was brought up with a strong female lead, and the next person was brought up with a very strong male lead. So that's what they embodied throughout their lives. So even if they weren't trying to be angry, or that's lack of a better term, like fight the next person, that's naturally how they approach every situation with each other.
And I think that makes sense because what you learn from your parents, your grandparents, your culture, everything else also falls into the place of how you are in your relationships. It plays a big dynamic in that. Like, it's what you see. We are all products of our environment. So however you grow up is just like, okay, well, my mom was really strong, so I have to be really strong. And it could be a pro and a con because some people will grow to want to be like that, and some people will grow like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to have to act this way and be this way. So I guess it just comes with all of that too. All that plays a part within that too. The decisions that you make in your relationships.
And you're right, Angel, because then it's like the opposite, seeing your own parent the opposite way, seeing them submissive, and you're just like, I would never be that way. Ain't no man gonna tell me what to do, and never ever gonna happen. I'm gonna be independent, all of that. But it happens. But that is so true. Just thinking about that.
Yes, it's true. I was going to chime in and say the same thing. Like it all depends on your upbringing, because someone can go according to how they were brought up, and someone can say, I don't want to be that way. But to also go back to your question, Sita, like I always think about that with my daughter right now. Like, what is it that I want her to know as a young lady growing up? Like, there are different topics which she's absolutely not ready for, but unfortunately, she has a little crush on a little boy, and he turned around and said, oh, I'm going to marry you, and I'm going to marry this little girl too. And I was like, no, if he wants you, he wants you, nobody else. Like, unfortunately, I had to say that to her at this age. But in all actuality, when I speak to her about anything in life, it's about loving herself and knowing how to love herself. And being submissive, that is not like a conversation I hope I don't have to have with her using that word, but in the fact of knowing what she wants and knowing how someone should love her the way she loves herself, and even more, in a sense, if that makes sense to answer your question.
I have something to chime in about when you talk about parents. Mm-hmm. Like for me, I'm Caribbean household Haitian. My mom, she would always tell me growing up, when I got older, of course, this is how you're supposed to treat your man. You see how I do for your father? And I'm like, like, I'm not going to be that way. Like she'll cook and she'll serve him. And I'm like, why can't he just get up and get his own food? You done cooked already, right? But she would do these things and, do the laundry and do all that. And I'm like, I'm not this type of person. But now I'm married. He don't actually do that. I do it naturally. And you have to understand when you love someone and that person loves you too, there's a lot of things that you said you wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't, wouldn't do. You'll do because it just happens. I want to do it. Like
Right.
he be like, babe, I got it. I'm like, no, I got it. I'm gonna give it to you, and it makes me feel good though. You know what I mean? So it's just like, damn, look what my mama don't tell me. So it's all about how it's your relationship and the love that you guys have for each other. You know what I mean?
And no matter what you said to your mother, that key
no.
word, want.
Yeah.
Right.
God knows. I also her no, and now I'm just doing things. I'm like, this is weird. I'm like,
Right.
mom, you know.
Who even am I?
Because that's because your husband makes you happy, so you want to do things to make him happy also.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know he'll do the same for you too. So it's not
Yeah.
just one-sided. So.
Right.
Go back to the beginning with the right person.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You enjoy him.
So
you-
basically, any and anyone
I'm
can
gonna
be
do.
submissive, no matter what.
Exactly. To the right person.
To the right
To
person.
the right
Right.
man. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or female.
Or
Right.
female.
Who's the right
Or
man?
female, yeah. So person, right
Or
person.
all types, you know.
Well, guys, there you
Basically.
have it. It all depends.
Because
For the
you
right
know, women.
person.
Oh.
Go ahead, girls. No. Go ahead.
I was gonna say because women actually want to do these things, but the minute you tell us what to do, it's a wrap. Don't.
That's true.
Because you're
That's
my
true.
man and not my
We
father.
want to
It's
do
a
these
difference.
things.
I call you daddy
want
in
you
the
to go
bed, but
brag
you're not
about
really
us.
my
That's
daddy.
Yep. That's
Like,
it.
go brag about me. Yeah, my girl cooks for me all the time, yo. Like, yeah. But the minute you tell me, yo,
It's like,
Yeah.
starve.
Yeah.
Before I feed you.
And I'm pretty sure guys feel the same way. Like, don't tell me what to do. So,
Yep.
both ways.
Yeah.
But they want us to tell them what to do. They want us to do that.
Of course.
The tone, our tone.
How you
Oh,
say
they love
it.
that.
It's how you say it.
It's how,
It's
yep,
how you
exactly.
say it.
That's all it is. You say
Can you? Can you?
Mhm.
That's it. Can you? Can you such and such?
Sweetie, honey, can you?
Please.
Please.
That's it.
When you get the chance, can you pick
When
this
you-
up for me?
Ooh, Mom, you
No.
making
Yes.
love with that word.
Yeah.
You making love when you get the chance.
We get
Don't fabricate
Alright,
stuff because it's don't fabricate stuff because it's not when you get the chance. It's straight to the point. Can you please do this for me?
no, trust me.
It's when you get a
You
chance.
right. You married. You right.
It depends
I'm
on
no
Okay. So tune in next time. It'll get even better. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.